We are the home of the free initial consultation, and sometimes that consultation runs more than just one meeting. We've had consultations go days until we figure out what you have in terms of a legal claim or defense and explain it to you fully and then have you sign a fee agreement. You don't pay us a dime. There have been a number of times that Matt and I both have met with people several times in a row before they decide to retain. We have to decide also whether or not we want to be retained and whether there's something to be retained for. We're not interested in taking people's money unless there's a good reason to do that. In addition to that, we take a very different view of our relationship with our clients. We consider our clients to be the employer and we're the employee, which means that you call the shots, okay? As long as it's legal and ethical, then we will teach you and tell you how to get to where you want to be from a legal standpoint. If you decide that you want to pursue something, we do it. If you decide you don't want to pursue something, we don't do it. We're here to be your friends. We're looking for relationships, not just money. And we are appreciative of the fact that we've been on the air on WJR News Talk 760 for more than about, I think, 10 years now. We're going to continue answering all your legal questions. We're going to talk to Jerry. He's got a question about some legislation. Jerry, welcome to the Law Show.
How you doing?
Good.
What I wanted to ask about is, I know back in 2011 they passed that bill, SB 159.
You're talking about you're talking about the bill that allows some people on the sex offender list to get off?
No, this is for expungement to clear a criminal record.
Okay, tell us about it.
Okay, well, what I wanted to find out is 22 years ago or 23 years ago, I got pulled over and I changed the month on my plate because I had the IRS on me taking everything, and they charged me with a felony on it. Felony forgery. Then about 7 years ago, I got pulled over, and I didn't know that I missed paying a ticket or a court date for, I don't know, it was a minor violation, but I didn't know my license was suspended, and I got pulled over again. Well, I've checked with other lawyers, and they said that they didn't seem to know about this bill. But I just wanted to see what possibilities of getting it expunged off my record.
Well, you have one charge, one conviction of one thing, and that's it?
No. He's got. I think he said he's got. You've got the felony fraud, but then you picked up something under the motor vehicle code after that, a misdemeanor of driving while license suspended. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was felony forgery.
Right. I mean, if you had not ever gotten the driving while license suspended charge, you would be eligible for an expungement. What you're talking about, that recent amendment to the expungement statute, what that did is that said that kind of broadened. Before that, it was black and white. If you get more than one thing, no matter what it is, you cannot get an expungement. And what they did is they kind of modified that a little bit, and they said, we'll allow someone to get up to 2 minor offenses, as that term is defined under the statute. And those minor offenses are misdemeanors or ordinance violations that would be punishable by no more than up to 90 days in jail or a $1,000 fine if the person was under 21 at the time they committed those 2 minor offenses. It doesn't sound like you were under 21 when you got that driving while license suspended charge, so my firm belief is you are probably not eligible for an expungement. But I can tell you, if you call me Monday morning in the office, I will have the statute right there in front of me, as well as my checklist, so I can make sure that I give you a 100% firm indication about whether or not you're eligible for an expungement. And of course, that phone call is absolutely free. There's no obligation. 90% of the law is black and white. There's some wiggle room or argument. The expungement statute's one of those rare exceptions where it really is kind of black and white the way it's written. But I do have the recent amendments to the statute in my office. So if you call me Monday morning again, I will for free be able to confirm exactly whether or not you're eligible for the expungement. But what I'm going to have to know is I'm going to have to know the dates of the offenses of both the felony fraud, the earlier one with the IRS, and I'm going to have to know the exact date of when you got that driving while license suspended charge. And then lastly, I'm going to need to know your age at the time of both of those offenses. But if you were over 21 when you got that driving while license suspended, you're probably not eligible for an expungement as the law is currently written.
If you'd like to call us on Monday and get an appointment to come in and see us, or if you want to just talk to us over the phone, call us at 855-LAW-SHOW. That's 855-529-7469. That's the number you should call right now if you have a legal question about any area of the law. That's 855-529-7469. We're going to talk to Elliot. Elliot, welcome to the Law Show.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. What can you do for you, Elliot?
I had a question about a lawyer. I retained a lawyer, and I don't think he did the job to his abilities. I only paid him a half of front of what I was, supposed to pay him. I was wondering, is it prudent to ask him to look? I think he should lower the cost, or how does that go?
Elliot, let me ask you. It says here that you were not satisfied with your criminal attorney. What kind of a charge were you charged with?
I was charged with CCW. I went to jail. I went to my arraignment, and at my next trial date, I retained an attorney. My attorney came, and we pleaded a deal with the prosecutors and things, and I went back to jail for another 10 days. And when I showed up to court after, the first trial, he came to me. He didn't tell me that he changed the judge, and he didn't take the plea deal, and I didn't know anything, and I was just surprised.
What county was that in? What county was that in?
And I didn't think that was right.
Hey, Elliot, what county was it in?
Wayne County.
Okay. I'm going to ask Matt, and what was the charge you were charged with?
CCW.
Carrying concealed weapon?
Yeah, and I still have CCW.
All right. Listen, I'm going to ask Matt what he thinks, and going to a criminal hearing in Wayne County is very different than going to a criminal hearing in any other county. Matt, take it away.
Yeah, so first of all, if you change judges, as you talked about, in Wayne County, like Brian said, it's very unique. What you do is you start off with what we call an AOI judge, an arraignment on the information judge. This is after your case has been bound over from district court and you're in circuit court, which in downtown Detroit, that's held at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice right near Tiger Stadium. When you go in front of an AOI judge, they're located on the second and third floors. That is, in almost all cases, not all, but most cases, that is your best opportunity to secure the most favorable plea deal. Because if you don't reach a deal in front of your AOI judge, then they set it for what's called a calendar conference, and you get bumped upstairs, which means you go into a blind draw where you may get a judge that is the same as your AOI judge or more strict. That's why anytime it's possible for me to negotiate a plea agreement, I really try and lock it in at the AOI level, because in my experience, the vast majority of the AOI judges are much more favorable and easy to deal with than the judges once you go upstairs and you set the case for a calendar conference. To the extent your lawyer is doing things like setting the case for a calendar conference or not taking plea deals that you told him you wanted to take, that's a big problem, because that lawyer works for you. And as Brian said earlier in the broadcast, we here at Daily Law Firm take the philosophical attitude that our clients are our bosses, and every lawyer, in my humble opinion, should take that same philosophical bent. And if there was a plea deal that was on the table and you wanted to take it, but your lawyer didn't accept it on your behalf, that's a big issue, and you should definitely think about changing lawyers. I can't tell you right now whether or not you'd be entitled to a refund of any money you've paid that lawyer, because that would depend on the retainer agreement you signed with a lawyer and how much work the lawyer's expended on your behalf up to this point. But it sounds like your ship needs to get turned around right away, because what I gleaned from your phone call is that you thought you had a deal in place and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden you got a new judge and no deal in place, and I don't understand why it's, the ship's falling off the water there. You got a big problem. You got to get it fixed as soon as possible.
Elliot, if you want more information about that, give us a call at 855-LAW-SHOW. That's 855-529-7469. We're going to talk to Todd now. Todd, welcome to the Law Show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What can I do for you?
I received a fine from the 19th District Court in Dearborn.
Yes?
And at the time, I thought I was going to win. I didn't take any cash with me. They told me I had 24 hours to get back, and I showed up the next day to pay it, and they refused my cash.
Well, what kind of a ticket did you get?
Pardon?
What kind of a ticket? What kind of a charge were you dealing with?
It was a parking ticket.
And, as with most parking tickets, and correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, if you pay within a certain amount of time, the fine is lower, and if you wait a little bit longer, the fine is higher.
Yeah, most of them have a graduated pay scale where if you pay like within 40 or 48 hours or 72 hours, it's much less, and if you wait longer than that, then you get tagged for the greater amount.
So did you miss that time frame, Todd?
Yes, I tried to pay it within 24 hours.
Okay, but they wouldn't take your money?
Closed the business day the following day. And they refused cash.
Well,
they didn't say you had to pay more, you're going to have to pay less, just refused.
Yeah, I
And
can't.
then
Why did they refuse? Did they tell you? Did they say that we won't accept cash at that particular receptacle, or why were they saying that they weren't going to take your money? That just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
it says, I will not take that. That's exactly what they said.
Well, would they take a check or a credit card or something?
I don't know, but it said cash right on the window, cash or bonds right here. And they called me up there to pay it. And I went to give them the cash, and we won't accept that.
That's baffling to me. I have never heard of a situation where a court, when you show up in person, won't take cash. I
It
mean,
was a
lots
police station, wasn't it?
No, it was at the 1956 court.
So you went to the court during normal business hours. It was within 24 hours of when you got the parking ticket. You show up to the court. You've got the cash in hand, and they said, we don't take cash. What?
I went to court to fight. I went to court to fight it.
Oh, you went to court to fight the parking ticket. Oh, I thought you just went to pay it.
No. I went to court to fight it. The judge reduced the $150 fine to $75. I figured I was going to win, so I didn't give cash. He says, you got 24 hours. So I came back within that time frame to pay it. Go up to the window where they called. They won't take it.
Well, they must have told you why they wouldn't take it. Did they? They didn't just say we're not going to take your cash and slam the window on you. Did they tell you why they wouldn't take the money? Did they say, hey, you got to show we'll only take cash, check or credit card, or what did they tell you as to why they wouldn't take it?
When I went to put the cash through the window, the woman behind the window says, I won't take it.
Okay, did you say why?
No, I didn't ask why. I said, you won't take legal tender? He said, I won't take it.
Well, you got to find out why. You're not giving us enough information. There's something else here. There's something that doesn't smell right. Because you're not giving us enough information. There's no court in the world that won't take cash.
Well, hold on a second.
They all take cash.
Well, wait a second. Did you show up with a bunch of rolls of pennies or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's why. Okay, that's a little.
Somebody's playing games, and you're still playing games. You're playing games with us. You should have said, "Hey, I showed up with a whole bunch of pennies and nickels and dimes and stuff like that because I wanted to cause a lot of trouble." And that's exactly what you're doing by calling in to us. You shouldn't do that. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be answering all your legal questions at 855 Law Show. That's 855-529-7469. Stay tuned.